Hi everyone, welcome back to Inspiring Penny. On this episode, I am so excited for everyone to meet my friend Lexi Joann, who wrote a poetry book called Due to You. So we're just going to get to know Lexi. We're actually in the Southeast Library again. They're very accommodating for us to do our interviews here, so I really want to thank them. So welcome, Lexi. How are you?
Thank you. I'm really good. I'm really excited to do this interview.
I have been over the moon, as you know, because I keep messaging you. Oh, this is my favorite poem. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Lexi Joann from Kipling, Saskatchewan. I haven't really been writing my whole life, just the past 3 or 4 years. Just whatever really hits the spark to inspire me. But yeah, I've just grown up here most of my life.
So you just started writing like 3 years ago. Is it just all been poetry, or is it stories, or?
So I wanted an outlet for teenage emotions and all of that, but I didn't really find journaling really effective. I just found that, can't sleep, let's grab my phone and write a poem. And normally it was not in a structure of a poem, but then reading over all my feelings, my words turn into art. And it was really cool to see them just be poetry. And it wasn't meant to be poetry, but it just happened.
That's pretty cool, actually. So, like, what made you pick up your phone? Like,
So normally when I got in some feelings, some of my feelings or some sad thoughts, it would be mostly at bedtime. So I wouldn't want to go and turn the light on and grab my phone, grab a notebook. So I just roll over, grab my notes app, and just write everything I felt. And the next day, if I read over them, I'd edit them and say, oh, that's a poem. Right. And so then after a few times of noticing that routine, I started doing it more often than not, and in the terms of meaning it to be poetry. Oh, okay. So it wouldn't just be paragraphs on paragraphs of feelings. It was figurative language to make poetry, but turn my feelings into that.
When you started, it was never a goal to write a poetry book?
No. I think just over 2 years ago, I was scrolling through the notes app, and it got so full, so I transferred them all to a Word document, and I was shocked because there's a lot here. So I googled how many pages for a book, and it said you need like 100 or so. So I had a poetry book.
So how did you go from? We're going to bounce around because I have so many questions. So how does one go from your poems and then you're Googling and I'm going to put this in a book and so did you self make this book then, or
So I did everything by myself. The cover design drawing was a freelance artist who I paid to create that for me. I gave them the inspiration that I wanted, but title, everything else, the shape and look of the book, that's all me. Okay. And the layout is all me. So it started from the notes app. I figured, well, maybe I won't make a book for everyone. I can just make a book for just myself, because they're my thoughts. They're really personal, exactly. Yeah. And very vulnerable to just open up and let people I don't even know, or people I know and don't want to talk to, about certain ways I'm feeling, and just let the whole world be able to read what I've gone through and what I've felt. So it's not just a fictional story, it's nonfiction, so it's everything that's about me. And it was just there. That's
what I noticed, is that reading it, it's definitely authentic you. And like some of it is, I'll be honest, really, really positive, and some of it's hard to read.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm like, wow, I would love to ask, you know, when I was reading, I'm like, oh man, what were you going through when you read, when you were writing that? Because, you know, some of them were in a dark place.
Oh yeah. So, so a couple of years back, I turned to writing as a means for my emotions, and most of them were going through either heartbreak or loss of friendship or just had battles with my own demons. And so I didn't necessarily want to talk to other people because I wanted to be strong for everyone around me and didn't want to open up, so put it into art, and then I would read it to my friends as a means to actually express my feelings to them, and they would understand or relate to actually what I was saying, and it turned into a positive for not only myself turning into the dark to something beautiful.
Right.
And then once I got into that healthy state of mind, I was still wanting to go in the habit of rolling over at night and just beaming, smiling. Oh, I'm gonna write poetry, or I just have a thought.
Right.
I had something to say, so I wanted someone to hear instead of just walking up and going to a friend or a family member to talk and to express those feelings.
So do you still write? Do you still do poetry?
So currently I'm working. It's not as much as when I wanted to get this, when I realized I had a book and wanted to get it done. But whenever, still at night time, I lay in my bed at night, can't sleep, it'll be early hours of the morning, and I roll over and grab my phone and start writing what's on my mind, just then I can go to sleep.
I know so many people that write poetry that would be really interested that you took it and figured out how to write a book, right, with it? Because, you know, a lot of us are afraid to show that inner self.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, congratulations that you were strong enough to show the world who you are. Yeah,
it was, at first, like I said, it was just gonna be for me, but I started getting excited by seeing this is my work. No one else has done that. It's my words, my feeling. I did this. And then talking to friends and family members and reading them and them being like, it's not because I love you I'm saying this, it's because it's actually, there's food for thought here.
Yeah.
I felt this before, and you know, like, they related to it.
When Lexi and I were talking earlier, I had mentioned to her that when I first got the book, I was doing some reading of it, and it actually inspired me to write poetry. I have never written poetry in my life because I always thought it was such a concise, you have to do so many verses and so many prose, and I fly by the seat of my pants type of person. I don't like scheduling. I don't like, so thank you, because I actually wrote 2 poems, and
that's so lovely.
And I probably wouldn't have if I didn't pick up your book. And so I've become very interested in poetry, and Charlotte at the library here has ordered me quite a few poetry books to read.
So exciting. I'm so happy to be a part of that journey, and I understand those feelings of just not wanting to write poetry and feeling like you have to fit a box or a mold of your words have to have this many syllables, your words have to have this figurative language in it. And like, I just graduated school last year, so, but thinking back, whenever we had the option to write poetry, or would, it was never, because it was always forced. And so it could have taken me less time than 4 years to write, but I didn't even know I was writing a book, so I wasn't confined to it. You're writing a book, you have to do this and this, and it has to be this. So that's why it's so true to myself, and it's Lexi Joann in a book.
Right. I was hoping that you would read a couple
for sure
poems, because I mean, I as you can tell, I marked the ones on my favorite. Like on the first page, actually, strengthening. Yeah.
So, strengthening. Nothing that has nor will happen to you is by accident. You'll never get anything thrown at you that you cannot handle. Someone believes in you. I believe in you.
Like, that just gives me goosebumps.
Thank you.
Because, like, actually, I read this when I was having a bad day.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not alone.
No.
Right?
Yep.
And I think through the last 2 or 3 years, people have become very disconnected.
Oh,
and
very.
part of my YouTube channel is to show people that we can connect with others
Mm-hmm.
in different ways that we did prior.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
So just picking up a book and knowing that you believe in me,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes the world.
Exactly. And when writing it, it wasn't a means of talking to someone else. It was talking to myself. So that really, that makes me feel incredibly affected, because it's not, I'm affecting someone in a positive way.
Yeah.
And there's always someone for you, and it's always good to know that there is someone who believes in you. And if you don't feel like it, you have to believe in yourself, because you're the master of your shit.
Yes, exactly. It's all about mindset.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. The one that I messaged Lexi about last night was vulnerability on 113, because this really spoke to me about what you did with this book. Yeah.
Thank you. So here's vulnerability. Writing is being vulnerable with yourself and others. You let people who you normally won't speak to into your whole mental capacity. They learn about your struggles and your highs. You leave an impact on some, but do not resonate with others. And that is the most beautiful part of it. Those strangers you pass all have their own story. It is those who pick up that pen to start speaking theirs who end up entering a whole new world, a part of themselves that they might have not have known was there. Being vulnerable is uncomfortable, though you never know who needs to hear your story.
Right?
Very true.
And for me, and this YouTube channel, I have to be very vulnerable, because it scares the living crap out of me to get in front of, or even ask somebody to do an interview. So like, this really can speak to anybody.
Oh, definitely.
So what were you thinking when you wrote this?
It was near the end of this writing journey for this book, and I was thinking about what this whole book is, and it's me being vulnerable to everyone, me opening up all these thoughts, all these feelings to anyone. It's not just kept away in my bedroom. A stranger across the world can go ahead and purchase it, and it's crazy, but just to know that I can help. Well, even with your writing, I only wanted to help one person, and
you did that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so even more is just incredible.
That's awesome. So the book is on Amazon.
Yes.
Because that's where I ordered it. So in the description below, we'll put that link in, so that if anybody wants to take a look at it. I ordered 2 copies because one is for me, and I'm actually donating one to the library, because in Kipling, we have a famous author, Mary Ballog, who I did interview prior.
So I watched
and
that.
I just want people to know that they can go to their local libraries and find these authors, you know? Yeah, so that's incredible.
For sure.
The last one I want you to read is just, let me find it. I know, I just can't. I don't know which one I want you to read. Actually, I do know, I just have to find it. 19, on page 19.
Okay. One mighty facade, the brain, a devil in disguise.
I love that. And it's poetry.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 lines.
Yep. I know. I remember learning in school that we didn't have to have a whole page worth of poetry. If it sometimes 1 line, 2 line and like 5 words, 6 words is impactful, and it's just how you organize those letters to make something that hits.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
So your next poetry book, what is the, like, because this one's kind of a deeper dive into your relationship.
Yes.
What I'm getting out of it, right? What is the next book about?
So it's almost, so currently I find my inspiration from my sister moving away and just now being free to do and make a life that I can create for myself. And so it's mostly about growing up, and I'm not sure how long it will take, but it's just going to be me, but a whole new side of me. As all these poems in this book, I'll read them, and once I was in a dark place, I read it and I'm astonished by how happy I am, and how grown and how mature I am, and from seeing where I was and where I am now, it's just reassuring that things do get better. You create your life how you want it. It's your life. And so I'm now learning that I can write, and these feelings are my feelings now, but they may not be my feelings tomorrow.
Right.
And so with that in mind, it's just going to be a moment of me, whatever I feel again, but this time with much growth, and maybe I'll lean back to some of those deeper, darker poems, but that's just because it's me.
Yeah. Although I just, from reading your poetry to you and I talking even previous, I see a lighter you.
Definitely.
And a brighter you versus what you had written. So maybe it was just getting that out on paper, you were able to deal with it. Because we all know that every single person struggles at some point in their life, right? And we all need to find that outlet that's going to get us from here to there.
Definitely.
Right? So obviously poetry has helped you.
Oh, 100%. It's helped me be able to get those straight on feelings out and not be able, not take it out on other people. So it's definitely a rash moment protector. And for sure, just lost my train of thought.
But happens to me all the time. Squirrel. I'm gone.
But yeah, so it's just being a way to log how I'm feeling too, and to show personal growth, and to be able to be, wow, I felt like this now. Well, then, now I feel like this now, and to say, I've learned from that. I don't ever have to feel that way to that extent again, because I've learned. If I go through something crazy, I can look at this, or I will even know. I don't have to react, and I know how to feel now, and it's okay to let things slide by. It's okay to be just happier, and life is so much better when you're enjoying it. And when you're not, there's always an outlet, someone to talk to, something to write in, just something to get your emotions out, because they're like, someone believes in you, like it says, and it's just
cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So your sister Kira and you are very close. You're twins.
Very close.
And she moved away.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's hard on you?
It's been a learning experience. She moved away in, I think, July, so right after graduation of last year. And the longest we'd been apart prior to that was when she went to Quebec for 3 weeks. And so her moving away long term has definitely been very, very different. My world felt like it was crashing in.
Yeah.
And But being very fortunate to be able to go up there, and I can work there and visit her, and I have a cat now, and so that's definitely helped with the loneliness aspect. Yeah.
So my dad was a twin as well too.
Awesome.
And they lived in the same town in Grenfell, and they had a very unique, it was a love-hate relationship at times, right?
Yeah.
Like they would yell at each other and then they're the best friends. But what was so weird for me to see, they were totally identical too. My sister used to run to my uncle and ask for allowance. I'm just thinking that maybe she knew it was him, but anyway.
Maybe.
Because he didn't have kids, so we did get spoiled.
Yeah.
Now I lost my train of track. But sometimes my dad would go to say something and my uncle would finish it.
Yep.
Right?
So happens to us all the time, or we'll just say it at the exact same time. Or normally we've learned the past couple of years, I will think it, or she'll think something, and we keep quiet. And then we're like, oh, that was so stupid to think of. I'm not going to say that. But the other person says it. And then we look at each other and it's like, yeah, we are thinking the exact same thing.
Crazy, hey?
And even, well, the first time I experienced it was when she went to Quebec. But I was having bad days. And I was like, but my day is going so great. I don't know why I'm feeling just a pit in my throat or that just down. And she'd messaged me saying she's having a rough day, so it was a little connection there that if I feel something off and there's not a really reason to feel off, we message each other and just say, how are you doing today? I miss you. And then it starts a whole conversation, which is...
That's nice. I'm really close to my sister too. She lives in Moose Jaw though, so...
A little ways.
Yeah, but I go... she does my hair, so that's a really good excuse to go and spend the day with her on her day off and just hang out and enjoy some time, right?
Yeah,
there's nothing better than having a sister, right?
Oh, for sure. And it's just having someone else there that understands you.
Yeah,
it's very wonderful.
Yeah. So you did a TikTok, right?
Yes.
That had it blew up, right?
Yeah. So I did a TikTok, I think it was at the end of November. I was actually in their kitchen, and she left her footprint on my face at birth. So I don't really know how I felt, and haven't really always felt like it's been the most incredible thing. But so I did a TikTok, and it was just focusing on my birthmark, and I woke up the next morning and I had 1 million views, and the next week 14 million.
Are you serious? I didn't know it was that.
Yeah, it's at almost, just about 15 million now.
Holy.
So, and hundreds of nice comments about about my appearance and my birthmark, and so it's just, I've learned that with words from my book and words from there's hundreds of people, millions, billions of people out there, and one good thing affects their day immensely. I was reading through those, and some people didn't believe it, but then you had those people who were just calling it lovely and beautiful, and just words are really impactful. But then those negative comments were also hurtful. Yeah. So it's very important how we use our words, especially towards other people, since we don't always know what other people are going through.
Exactly. So how did it make you feel once you got some of those positive, did it make you feel, did it change your inner dialogue to yourself?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I used to walk around and kind of be ashamed, or if I would get looks and they're like, oh, they're looking at my face, and it was one of my insecurities, but I wasn't really bullied for it, which was very thankful, and especially with teenagers and kids, pretty cruel sometimes. So just being able to feel that I can it made me feel that I can walk around and be confident, and maybe they don't understand what you're going through, but if someone just sat and listened, they'd understand. And that goes with all your emotions, and your appearance, and you're you, and why would I change anything? That's me.
That's amazing that you learned that at such a young age, right? Because for some of us, it takes us decades to learn, right? You know, just, I don't know, in the past 10 years, I've really learned not to judge a book by the cover when you see somebody, because you don't know what that person's going through. And yeah, they might have come in and they might have yelled at me, but really they're not yelling at me. They're yelling at something else that's going on in their lives. And I've had lots of people, you know, come back and, you know, I'm so sorry, right? And I've had to do that as well too, because we all get triggered at some point in time, but I'm not too big to go and say I'm sorry, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it just, thinking about what you say and who you judge is just, it doesn't help anyone. And speaking personally, when I think badly or poorly about someone, it doesn't make me feel any better, and it makes me feel like a mean person. So I don't think there's a purpose to do that, and it's just a waste of all this good positivity we could spread.
So where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? What do you want to do?
So currently, I'm working in the family company as a financial manager, and so I see myself doing that, but making it mine, and being able to help grow the family company, and, well, not mine, but my siblings, and just more of our families, and just grow it and grow it and grow it, and give what I've been blessed with a bigger and better meaning. And and on the side, I do love to write, so I am hoping to start writing. Well, I have started writing another book of poetry, but I also have a nonfiction kind of laid out and organized. I just gotta start actually writing the chapters for that.
Okay, so what's that about?
So it's gonna be life in a teenage perspective. So it's about my feelings in this poetry book, about what I've been through, and more directed through people with kids and parents of divorce, because I've seen that plenty of times, and I know it's so common, and I know that sometimes you don't want to talk to your parents about that. So hearing it come from someone else, where a child can connect to this book, or even a parent can get inside scope of what their kids are feeling,
right,
which is pretty major. So
that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Oh, that's good. It's just exciting to see somebody with goals. I'm taking a class myself, thinking into results with Crystal McRae, and it's all about goal setting. And it's like it's just totally changed how I look at life and how I set goals. Like, I have some crazy ass goals, and then I have some not so crazy ass goals. So you know, it's just kind of like, what do you want with your life? Like, if you don't write down your goal, how are you going to know where you're going?
Exactly.
Right?
No, exactly.
So it's like, oh, I wish I would have learned this like 20 years ago, right?
Yep.
But so good for you to know what direction you're going. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your family business?
About 10 years ago, we moved back from BC, where we were living, which it was crazy, but I'm blessed, and everything happens for a reason. So we moved back, and my dad started working with my grandpa in construction, but on the side he started doing a little bit of water filtration, and when he was out on the coast, actually, he got friends with the Navy SEALs friends out there, and started learning more about filtration and the importance of water. And so he designed a whole reverse osmosis system. So basically, a reverse osmosis, you take your water and it goes through a series of filters and a membrane, which the membrane kills quite a bit of particles and bacteria. And so then you get completely bacteria, mineral, just gunk-free water, drinking water throughout your whole house. So you shower with it. You can drink out of your bathroom toilet if you wanted. It's incredible. So he's been doing that for a while now, for almost all my life. And quite recently, I got into the finance department, so I help with AR and AP and just controlling our invoices, a little bit of helping with the employees, and then I've grown up with water my whole life, so it's just immensely amazing how important, but how it's not really thought about that much. There's so many people who care about what's in their food, but they're drinking chlorinated water still, and it's really bad for you. And so it's just being a blessing to be able to learn and grow up with this science and to understand the importance of what you're putting into your body, not only with food but with your water.
And you guys have expanded.
Oh yes.
From just in Kipling, you've got off like
so
satellite places.
Yeah, so we started in Kipling and out of our garage actually, which is crazy to see. And then from our garage to a sea can that was converted to a little shop, and then to the big building on Highway 49, Kipling, Saskatchewan. Well, not Highway 49. 48, but Railway 409. And so now we have a shop located in Warman. We have a shop located in Medicine Hat, and a shop located in Bakerville, Alberta.
Where your sister is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we service all 3 prairie provinces. We're not limited to anywhere else, though, as we just put our first system into the States just a couple days ago, which is
pretty cool.
Big milestone for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully the next chapter for me and the family is just to start up in the States.
Keep going.
Exactly.
To be honest, the Kimmery farm family has your system.
Well, thanks for your business.
And I was so excited that, because we live on an acreage, and so to wash white clothes and to have them come out white is super amazing. And then we actually got a hot tub, and we do not use chlorine. Your dad helped us find out a different product, peroxide, and so your skin doesn't itch. You come out and you feel amazing, because we actually we were thinking about getting rid of the hot tub because my husband, with the chlorine, it was just eating his skin. And then he stopped to talk to Lance, and Lance had a suggestion, and we tried it. So yeah, I love my Walker water.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't only help with your skin or clothes. Your hair feels so much better, and that's so important, especially for me with long hair. Anyone. And dishes, everything is spot free.
Because you don't need a softener salt anymore.
No.
Right?
So no carrying, and getting rid of all that plastic and bottled water is just.
And our water used to eat our taps.
Oh yes.
And
so iron. And...
Oh, it was terrible. And our washing machine, we would have to replace it all the time. And now, we don't have that problem. Yeah,
I just spoke to a client of ours actually at the Regina Spring Home Show, and they used to change their taps. Every twice a year almost. And they haven't changed it since switching to Walker's water. Yeah, because it gets really expensive to replace those, and definitely
it just drove me bananas. So No, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's really, for me, it's really exciting that we have another business in Kipling, because promoting Kipling, my home, well, where I live, is really important to me, right? And to have people from other towns come and visit us.
Oh, definitely.
If you haven't come to check out Kipling, you really need to. We've got the world's largest red paperclip.
Yes.
And we've got lots to see. So, Lexi, I just really want to thank you for coming and seeing me. And hopefully, when we get your next book out, you'll come back again.
Oh, definitely.
And yeah, so thank you. So
thanks for having me.
That's awesome. So thanks again for joining me. If you noticed that my shirt, it was made by 736 here from Kipling, from Summer made it for me. So check out support your local library. I'm gonna put her contact information in the description. I'm gonna get this lingo someday. And I just really want to thank her. I came up with this idea and I just shot it out to her. I'm like, can you make this for me? Sure. So I'm hoping to have her come in sometime for an interview. And so if anybody out there knows of anybody that's really cool and fantastic and creative, I am looking for people to interview. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for joining us.